Hokage, Uchiha Prodigy unlocks ultimate analysis system. Episode 61. The deserters of the Ninja World War travel to the border of the Fire Nation. On the shortest route to the country of grass, a winding path is for horse-drawn carriages only. On the left is a bottomless cliff, and on the right is a lush forest. If someone robs the road on this road, it is bound to happen. Therefore, businessmen generally prefer to take a detour rather than take this path. When he was in Umbu, in order to establish an additional economic chain, the village dispatched the Umbu unit to protect a wealthy businessman who ate people but never spit out bones. At that time, Konoha Umbu's identity was there, and no one dared to approach her. Today, this is the second time he has passed by. Feeling the headwind blowing up from the cliff, Jiraiya couldn't help but stare, and silently grabbed the rear of the car. Oh my god, if this falls, my uncle will turn into a puddle of mud. Shut your crow mouth, silly asterisk asterisk. Orochimaru cursed. The reason why it is said that Jiraiya is a crow's mouth, it's because in the previous missions, Jiraiya's consecration is accurate. Good things don't work, bad things work. However, with Uchiha Hiko leading the horses ahead, the car shouldn't tip over. But now that the consecratory mouth has opened, according to the truth of the operation of the big world, something must come. So, soon, there was a rustling sound from the forest on the right. Captain. Orochimaru frowned. Uchiha Hiko nodded, and said relaxedly, "You three take the lead first, don't be ashamed." The three of them agreed, and immediately set off, jumping into the lush forest. Just listening to the cries of the golden swords and the screams, dozens of corpses were thrown off the cliff. Uchiha Hiko took a look and found that those dead people were just ordinary bandits. Bandits usually dare to go down the mountain in groups to grab some food and a few neon girls. To say that the real robbers are those ninja deserters, they are the ones who have the capital to do great work. One is called survival and reproduction, and the other is called life enjoyment. What Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade killed was just some cannon fodder. That's what they put out to test on purpose. Try this time to see if the idea is hard. Obviously, the three of them are still not hard enough. It took more than half a while to kill a dozen ordinary bandits. If you are a real ninja master, you will either let a large number of them die silently, or use range ninjutsu to clear them all at once. Ninja, Konoha's ninja. I ask you to speed up immediately. There is a fight outside. There is a fight, the minister shouted in panic in the carriage. Here, Uchiha Hiko finally interacted with the minister for the first time. Hehe, retarded. This mountain road is steep and there are no guardrails, whether it is front drive or rear drive, you can try it. Falling off the cliff, life will be accelerated. Uchiha Hiko's taunt made the flustered minister shut his mouth tremblingly. At this time all the rich and powerful are relying on one side, and strength is the last word. Suddenly, he sensed a chakra that wasn't weak. Looking up, I saw that on the offensive line formed by Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade, a ninja wearing a shroud suddenly jumped out. Uchiha Hiko looked at the shroud on his head, and saw a lightning-like symbol engraved on it, but it was scratched horizontally at this time. Oh? Cloud Shinobi Village's rebellion. Didn't you say that Cloud Shinobi has no rebellion? How do you say that? General June. Cloud Shinobi rebels with dark skin and speaks jargon in his mouth. As a robber, he was very smart. He didn't care about the three ninjas on the blockade line ahead, and went straight to the important officials on the carriage. Their sentry had already secretly seen the figures in the carriage during the break on the way. It was convenient for the minister to get out of the carriage. He recognized at a glance that it was the minister of the Fire Nation. A minister's head, especially a minister of the country of fire, can be exchanged for a lot of money. Cloud Shinobi held a machete in his rebellious hand, just like his arrogant face, gathered chakra on his arm, and wanted to chop the carriage into pieces. However, at this moment, Uchiha Hiko, who had been sitting indifferently at the head of the carriage, raised his head. He turned towards the rear right, and glanced lightly at the rebelliousness of Cloud Shinobi. The three-hooked jade in his eyes slowly rotated. Sharingan. It's a rather wondrous, relatively slow world. Cloud Shinobi's rebellious mind was stagnant, as if he had lost his mind, and the raised knife did not swing down, but followed the inertial force, and went straight to the depths of the cliff. Come fast, go fast. It can be said that one step is in place. Your general has hit a big plan. Uchiha Hiko couldn't help sighing. Immediately, he reached out and grabbed the horse's reins, and lightly tied it to the front of the carriage. Then, sensing more and more chakra fluctuations that were getting closer, he stood up. Minister, if you don't want to die, stop barking. The horse already knows that you should be dragged out of this road. I will go and destroy this mountain of thieves that gets in the way. See you later. After the words fell, without waiting for the minister to reply, he just jumped into the dense forest. Episode 62. Pirate Ninja. Among the jungle, Uchiha Hiko glanced at the three who were fighting with ordinary bandits. Even though the other side has a large number of people, the three of them have the upper hand. The battle situation was considered satisfactory for the time being, and then continued to face the group of chakra and charged towards the top of the mountain. The speed of the ninja walking alone is quite fast in this dense forest. It is like a cheetah locked on its prey. Lightning-style Chidori. While forming a seal with one hand, he drew the black knife from behind. The seal is only in an instant. When the lightning in his left hand gathers together, the lightning style stimulates the cells of the body, and the whole speed soars instantly. As for the black knife on his right hand, the original 60-centimeter long blade was filled with chakra at this moment, and it instantly became 1 meter too. The three-hooked jade in the eyes kept spinning, seeing everything in front of him. There are a total of 40 ninjas. It seems that there were quite a few deserters in the last ninja war. There will be deserters in every war. This is a fact that the major ninja villages are unwilling to admit, and they will not bring this matter to the surface. The last ninja war was larger than the average ninja war. Someone dares to rush up, isn't he afraid of death? The bandit leader laughed wildly. Where's the black head? He missed. Boss, I feel that his chakra is getting farther and farther away. It should be dropped. Ha ha ha, I knew all the people who came out of Cloud Shinobi Village were reckless. Just then, Uchiha Hiko rushed out of the jungle. The mountain is a Mediterranean head shape, the slopes are full of trees, but the top is bare. A group of robbers are on the top of the mountain, condescending. But at this time Uchiha Hiko rushed out. The lightning in his left hand is like 1,000 birds singing together, and the ninja knife in his right hand is emitting a cold light. One shot. With a low shout, the 12-meter-long chakra blade in his hand slashed across the neck of the leader. His high-density chakra blade cuts iron like mud. Cutting off a human neck is as easy as piercing a piece of white paper. Boss. Boss. Seeing the boss, who was still laughing wildly just now, his head had already rolled to the ground, and all the robbers suddenly turned pale with fright. It was during this moment of panic that Uchiha Hiko, who was like a shadow, had leaped to the other side, and the bloody chidori in his hand had already pierced a person's heart. That is. A traitor pointed to the thunderbolt in Uchiha Hiko's hand in horror. In the ninja world of this era, few dare to hold Raiden in their hands. Reikage from Cloud Shinobi Village, that iconic character, doesn't appear in front of their group, but that person in the legend has a more advanced grasp of lightning style than Reikage. Are you, my lord? Uchiha Hiko didn't answer a mere rebellious question. The habit developed in Umbu is to talk less nonsense when working. With chidori in his hand, he directly tore apart one ninja's body, and continued to attack the next person. The deserter ninjas and rebel ninjas also reacted and launched a counterattack. At this point, 2 people have already fallen. It can be seen that Uchiha Hiko shot quickly. Fast as lightning. Isn't this just a brat? What are you afraid of in front of me? Give me hold the sun. That lightning-style ninjutsu is legendary. Up. Earth-style rock fist. Ah, don't worry about it, let's go, kill him. Before the threat of life, everyone mustered up their courage. Legends are legends. The legendary Konoha Umbu, who wears a fox mask and uses a special lightning style, has always been ruthless. It is impossible for them to escape. Even if they run to Tanya Cape, he will definitely catch up and kill them. Then, the only option is to fight back desperately. What if you are lucky enough to kill and destroy that legend, and you are the one who survives? 3. Uchiha Hiko thought silently. At the same time, the chakra blade in his hand easily cut a person's body in half. This extremely sharp chakra knife is quite a trick in actual combat. When others held the black iron kunai to block, his chakra knife cut off his kunai in an instant, split his head, and divided his body. The hardest bone in the body is like a piece of tofu in front of the high-density chakra knife. The legendary lord. Spare me, A.H. A Kusanagi rebellious ninja even knelt down in front of Uchiha Hiko, begging for mercy. However, in the chaotic battle, Uchiha Hiko did not notice him. Accidentally, it was chopped off. If this dear man knelt down and begged for mercy in a peaceful situation, he would respond with a few words and persuade him to have a good pregnancy in his next life. Sudden, after his figure of killing like a wolf and a tiger, a ninja without affiliation raised his rough hands and used the fastest speed in his life to form a seal. 3 seconds later, his 6 seals were finally completed. Holding the last seal, the smile on Rebel's face was very ferocious. I accept your bounty. Fire-style fire flame bullet technique. As soon as you hear the name, you know that some pirated ninjas have done wicked things. Episode 63. Let's face XXX. Sensing the ninjutsu behind him, Uchiha Hiko immediately swept the chakra long blade in his hand, repelling the rebellious ninjutsu surrounding him. Then he turned around abruptly and immediately formed a seal with one hand. Fire-style, great fireball technique. The huge dark red great fireball blasted straight at the homeless ninja. Regarding fire-style ninjutsu, he has been in the ninja world for so many years, but he has never met a single opponent. Turn around and release a great fireball, and he ignores what is behind him and continues to meet the enemy in front of him. Boom! There was a loud noise behind him, and the 2 fireballs shattered against each other, and the powerful blast scattered away, knocking the sneak-attacking ninja back tens of meters. At this moment, the enemy in front of Uchiha Hiko stabbed a kunai. Uchiha Hiko dodges sideways, and then the chidori of his left hand cuts up vertically, cutting off his wrists. When that part of the wrist fell, his eyesight and hands were quick, and he scattered Chidori and took away the branch of kunai. Immediately, he backhanded and threw that kunai out. He doesn't need to aim at all. The moment he turned around and released ninjutsu just now, he had already calculated everything. The position of the wandering ninja, the impact force of the ninjutsu explosion, the moving position of the ninja after the impact, and how long he has to adapt to after the impact. The ninja who sneaked up from behind was hit by the blast and fell back dozens of meters. Just when he raised his head and was about to curse, a sharp kunai keeps magnifying in his eyes. Laugh. Kunai pierced into his left eye socket, directly submerging most of it. The dead cannot die again. Over there, Uchiha Hiko is still fighting the enemy calmly. The experience accumulated from years of fighting allowed him to kill every enemy in the most direct and efficient way. 18. With a death notice in his heart, the heart of a deserter ninja was pierced by him. In a blink of an eye, half of the 40 ninjas who were originally standing on the top of the mountain were now left. Due to the explosion of ninjutsu above, the ordinary bandits hidden in the dense forest were alarmed. Those ordinary bandits, some rely on their physique alone, and some have already obtained the chakra refining method when fighting. They are always better than ordinary people. The 3 Orochimaru who were still in the upper hand just now, after being exhausted by the crowd tactics, have bottomed out chakra and are out of breath. Oops. There are people up there. What's the matter? It seems to have been fighting for a long time. Aren't the bosses all ninjas, and it hasn't been resolved yet? I'm afraid it's Jonin, the leader of these brats. Go up and support the boss, don't worry about these little brats. Konoha's ninjas are 2 thieves. The number of ordinary bandits far exceeds the number of rebels on the top of the mountain. Although the 3 of Orochimaru had killed more than 20 people, with the explosion of the fire style on the top of the mountain, the hearts of ordinary bandits unanimously supported the road, and the flow of people visible to the naked eye almost flattened the lush dense forest. That number is more than 100 people. Being able to occupy the key points of customs clearance in the Nation of Fire, the comprehensive strength of this group of bandits is naturally extraordinary. There must be some manpower. Even though Uchiha Hiko was in the middle of the fight, he could hear the shouts of killing on the hillside. If one of them can gather together and use some kind of sound escape technique, it will definitely be awesome. It's a pity that among them, the limit is to extract chakra, and they don't even know a single ninjutsu. Those who have mastered the resources are all these ninjas who stood on the top of the mountain just now. 23. Uchiha Hiko counted. At the same time, he also slightly estimated the number of people below, and couldn't help frowning. 40 people are easy to kill, but it's too much effort to kill those people one by one. With this in mind, he jumped up immediately, jumping out of the attack range of the remaining rebel forces. And in the air, he formed a mudra with one hand and launched a fire-style ninjutsu towards the sky. Fire-style Longyan singing technique. The foot of the mountain, Orochimaru looked at the 5 fire dragons hovering in the sky in surprise. That fire-style ninjutsu is. Looking at the lifelike flame dragon, Tsunade said with certainty, well, it's Hiko's fire-style ninjutsu, that's right. But why did he release the fire-style ninjutsu towards the sky? It went wrong. Could it be that he is asking us for help? Orochimaru gave Jiraiya a blank look. Even if he asks for help, he won't ask you, an idiot, for help. These 2 people, even at this moment, did not forget to bicker. Suddenly, Tsunade seemed to understand something, that is. Mountaintop, Uchiha Hiko deliberately dealt with the rebels for a while. The ordinary bandits in the rear are still chasing after them. If he hadn't deliberately slowed down, the group of ordinary bandits might not even be able to see his shadow. Finally, the sky is getting dark. Is it going to rain? Someone asked doubtfully, looking at the gloomy weather, feeling a little depressed in his heart. They were going to rob the road, but they didn't expect to be robbed by a few ninjas to the mountain, and no one could get down. Now, this kind of hellish weather is happening again. Uchiha Hiko saw that the time was ripe, so he stopped and sneered at a group of bandits. Face your death. Episode 64. This technique is called Chilin. The location where Uchiha Hiko stopped happened to be the highest peak of a mountain. The sky is gloomy, and it seems that the sky is extremely low. He stood there like a man in contact with the sky. Sudden, Chidori, familiar to the traitorous cruel party, lit up in his hand. However, Chidori is different this time. What is he going to do? In the eyes of the rebels, the lightning style is used for stabbing at close range. What can they do when they stand so far away? At this moment, there was a thunder in the sky. Lightning style? Thunder? For some reason, the ninjas always felt uneasy. The name of this technique is, as he said, Uchiha Hiko pointed the Chidori in his hand to the sky, and by virtue of the principle of mutual attraction between thunder and lightning, he connected with the sky thunder in an instant. The sky changed drastically. The originally gloomy and dark sky suddenly burst into thunder and lightning, and the flickering thunder made the sky and the earth glow with fluorescence. That is. A traitor shouted hoarsely. He felt hopeless. In his line of sight, in the eyes of everyone, the thunder from the sky turned into an ancient giant beast. It was a colossal monster that looked like a wolf or a lion, and every part of its body was made of the thunder from the sky. This ancient giant beast hovered in the black cloud, like a god descending into the world. My lord, rebellious Nin dropped his hands weakly, and the knives in his hands fell to the ground with a clang. This is true for the remaining rebels, not to mention those ordinary bandits. The light of thunder and lightning shone in the eyes of each of them. With their fragile minds, they even forgot to breathe. Just the heavenly power emanating from the thunder monster that day shocked their souls. They are ants. Down the mountain, Tsunade's fair face, reflected by the flickering thunder and lightning, was particularly beautiful. Her temperament was not like ordinary people, and her blonde hair was also scattered in the battle just now. A drop of rain fell on the tip of her delicate nose. The sixth sense gave her a dangerous signal, but she never guessed that such a thing would happen in this world. What is that? Even her grandpa, Senju Hashirama, had never used a lightning style on this scale. Looking at the giant monster in the sky, it seems that it is close at hand, and it may engulf the living beings at any time. Orochimaru also muttered, is it Uchiha Hiko's ninjutsu? As a genius ninja determined to defeat Uchiha Hiko, Orochimaru began to study wind-style ninjutsu 3 years ago. I hope to face Uchiha Hiko one day. His wind style can work wonders. His wind style is perfect. And it's great. But, at this moment, he was looking at the thunder roaring in the sky, and his heart was filled with endless despair. Such a lightning style, what kind of wind style does he use to counter and crack it? I thought that when the captain took office, he had seen the full strength of Uchiha Hiko, thought that the limit was the Chidori style. Such a Chidori style made the three of them lose their fighting power in an instant. Already powerful enough. But he never imagined that Uchiha Hiko still has ninjutsu of this scale hidden in his hand. No, it should be said to be a taboo technique. What level is this technique? Jiraiya's white hair flew up, just like his heart, fluttering like duckweed. He clenched his fist tightly, trembling uncontrollably. Even though the lightning style in the sky was not aimed at him that day, the majesty exuded already made him tremble with fear. He doesn't even know now what that is. Should it be Uchiha Hiko's lightning style, or the enemy's joint ninjutsu, or should they encounter some supernatural monster in this world? Thunder, Tailed Beast or something? If Tsunade and Orochimaru are shocking, then Jiraiya is terrifying. Under this endless fear, his body, like the ants and bandits on the top of the mountain, didn't even have the courage to move. On the hill, Uchiha Hiko controlled the raging thunder and lightning, looking calmly at the group of thieves below. The scale of this technique is very grand, but the chakra required is not much. After system analysis, the required chakra is just a little bit more than Chidori. It's hard to imagine that such a huge ninjutsu only needs a little bit of chakra. Very little chakra is needed, because it is basically made up of thunder, natural thunder, and lightning. Lightning-style Qilin. He waved his arm lightly, and Qilin, the thunder in the sky, protruded a giant head from the black cloud, staring at his food with a pair of scarlet eyes. Just that terrifying Tianwei has already scared their minds to pieces. In an instant, the sky and the earth are flooded with white light. It only takes 1,000th of a second for the lightning to hit the ground, and this moment is the moment that leads them to death. Everyone in Feng Yuan seemed to have experienced a lightning bolt at close range, and their eyes were only so blindingly pale. In both ears, there is only that thunder roaring that day, like the deterrent of a god shaking the world. When all that slowly fades away, the three people under the mountain opened their eyes, caught the eye. There is only a piece of scorched earth left. Episode 65. This is just breaking lightning style. Why are you surprised? The smoke filled the air. The hills in front of them have been moved flat, and their vision has widened a lot. The original mountain road was covered by the sun along the way, and it was cool inside and out when walking on it. Now, standing on the mountain road, they can already see the sun. The sun pierced through the black clouds above their heads, as if they were inlaid with gold. And him, where is he? Tsunade asked. Hiko-kun will not be under his ninjutsu. Orochimaru licked the corner of his mouth, looking worried. He's completely captivated by Uchiha Hiko's monster talent. If you want to learn from him or use wind style to break his lightning style, then you are pure foolishness. That lightning style try? What he is worried about now is that the power of that lightning style is too great. It is already so great that it will affect the caster himself. Just when the three of them were worried, a figure suddenly appeared behind them. It's time to move. I used a small hypnosis illusion on the horse. It should have been awakened by the thunder and lightning. We have to catch up quickly, Uchiha Hiko said lightly. Looking at Uchiha Hiko's calm face, Orochimaru was even more shocked. The lightning-style ninjutsu of such a large scale just now can't be seen on his body with any high-consuming learning. Is there a tail beast living in his body? How can you have such a huge amount of chakra? As everyone knows, the lightning-style Qilin just now didn't cost him much chakra at all. Yes. Orochimaru responded dully. Then let's go. Well, I want to ask, Yen, what is your lightning style ninjutsu? Tsunade asked very embarrassedly. She originally wanted to ask Uchiha Hiko about lightning style ninjutsu. Where did he practice it? Konoha doesn't have that kind of lightning style ninjutsu, but when the words come to his lips, he can't say them. I don't know if it's embarrassment, or I feel that the gap between the two is too big, and my self-confidence has been frustrated. Unexpectedly, Uchiha Hiko didn't notice her embarrassment. He just said it bluntly, and replied nonchalantly, "Oh, I created a broken lightning style, which is very troublesome to use, and there is no need to use it widely." What he said was the truth from his point of view. Really, the current lightning style Qilin still needs to be improved. You need to do a lot of prep work before performing the technique. No matter if you use fire style or whatever, there must be thunderclouds directly above anyway. The preparation time is too long. Just break lightning style. However, hearing these words in the ears of the three people, the taste changed instantly. Such a powerful lightning style ninjutsu, you actually say it breaks lightning style? Jiraiya stared straight at the scene, and gestured with both hands. I thought it was God who descended to earth. Yeah, like a god descending from the earth, the power is too terrifying. I have never seen such a terrifying ninjutsu. Even Mr. Sarutobi doesn't know that kind of ninjutsu? Orochimaru also said. Uchiha Hiko shook his head and looked at Tsunade. In terms of the scale of ninjutsu, I am still a bit short. The ninjutsu power of the old ninja god is 10 times and 100 times that of me. A nine tails is in front of the wooden man, which is about the size of a palm. His lightning style Qilin is about the same size as nine tails. What do you say? When Tsunade saw his grandfather mentioned, his eyes changed slightly. Everyone in Konoha knows that the Battle of Ending Valley was a shocking battle, although no one dared to linger near the battlefield, but after looking at the messy battlefield, one knew how fierce the battle was. Ask for flowers. Tsunade pursed his lips and smiled. Grandfather was already a grandfather at that time. You are only as old as me this year, and there will be a long time in the future. She's already got her own answer. The terrifying lightning style just now is Uchiha Hiko's own ninjutsu. How much painstaking effort did it take for a person to develop such a lightning style? Just how amazing is his talent? Uchiha Hiko didn't care about the so-called time versus comfort method. He didn't care about that kind of thing at all. What young, what age? Should we have nothing when we are young, and when we are old, we will automatically get what we need? That is impossible. Everything in the world is earned by yourself. Stop talking. Catch up with the wagon. Our mission is half done. After the voice fell, he had already rushed out first. The three of them looked at his back and were speechless for a moment, so they dragged their exhausted bodies after the battle and ran up after him. The four chased the carriage far away, but here the green hills turned into scorched earth. The green smoke rose into the sky, and the dark clouds in the sky were gradually pierced and split by the sun, and finally dispersed. When the sun past shines on the mountain top again, what is left behind is not a vibrant scene. Instead, a piece of hellish death. The corpses on display, the raging lightning split the trees pierced through the bandit's body, and the dark red blood poured into the scorched earth, pouring into a hellish scene. This land, it is estimated that there will be no more angry things growing in a few years. But in the future, people who pass by don't need to worry about B. Episode 66. I accept your heart. Ninjutsu, Genjutsu is inherently superior to the other two. Ninjutsu and Taijutsu can be practiced bravely, but whether or not one has the talent for Genjutsu is determined by heaven. Uchiha Sharingan has a strong grasp of illusion. Others may need to practice illusion for a long time, but they can easily learn and enhance its power as long as they have Sharingan, except for some patients with pure brain diseases. Uchiha Hiko used his 3-tomo Sharingan to hypnosis the horse in front, making it run along the mountain road at a constant speed. Because the cast object is just an ordinary horse, the level of hypnosis he cast is extremely low. When the lightning style explodes, the horse has already woken up. Fortunately, the minister was lucky, and the frightened horses didn't pull him to the bottom of the 507 cliff on the island. After recovering a life at the gate of Huangquan country, the minister panted heavily, wanting to force him to say a few words, but seeing the blood on their clothes, he closed his mouth wisely. Before it gets dark today, it is expected to reach the central and western part of the country of grass, and the weather temperature will drop. Pay attention. Hiko, have you ever been to the country of grass? No. Then how do you know so much? We don't know. If you don't know, then come out and do more dangerous tasks, and you will definitely remember it. Oh. The crowd galloped all the way over the mountains and drove to the plain. Walking in here, Uchiha Hiko suddenly realized. No wonder the traitorous ninjas on the pass of the Kingdom of Fire, several of them know how to make up ninjutsu, because there is the Kingdom of Grass in front of them. There is Kusanagi village in the country of grass, and the ninjas of Kusanagi village have no other skills, but like to study other people's ninjutsu. This country is a small landlocked country, sandwiched between 4 countries. It just so happens that these 4 countries are stronger than theirs. The position is very embarrassing. The carriage of the minister of the country of fire entered the country, and several people had seen what it meant to be like a batch. Kusanagi warmly invited them to enter the village to rest, but Uchiha Hiko refused, because, in his mission plan, there is no such thing. He doesn't like trouble when he doesn't plan for it. Night gradually fell. Several people stopped in the west of the country of grass and rested in front of the horse army. No one thought that his decision really avoided a big trouble. At the same time, in a small frontier village in the country of grass, there are usually a dozen ninjas stationed there. After all, their country is small and sparsely populated, and it is interesting enough to house 10 ninjas in a small frontier village. Night fell. A tall figure slowly entered the village, and he went straight to Kusanagi's resting place. I saw that he slowly raised his fist, and under a strange force, his fist turned black. Immediately, he raised his fist and slammed it out. The power of that punch, even if a wall built with bricks by the villagers, it will fall apart in an instant. Tell me, where did they go? Before the smoke cleared, the voice came in, like a thick scythe of judgment, resting on their necks. A group of Kusanagi gathered from the panic and quickly jumped out of the ruins. Who is here? Where are you, holy? The two Kusanagi asked. Hearing the sound, the tall figure turned around leisurely. Only then did the grass ninjas see clearly that this person's eyes were like greedy wolves, with a faint green glow. I believe you are not interested in me. I just want to know, where did they go? The tall figure asked. Just being locked on by that kind of sight, the leader of Chaushur is already terrified. It can be seen that this person is strong. It must be the strength accumulated over the years. He is very clear that this person in front of him is not easy to mess with. Who are you talking about? If you are looking for someone, there is no need to smash our residence. Oh, the tall figure didn't care about smashing the house at all, but just replied, Minister of the Fire Kingdom. The price of his head just increased. What? Could it be that you are a bounty hunter? Kusanagi looked at each other in blank dismay, betraying the information of a big country that is killing themselves. But if they don't speak today, they will perish now. The tall figure still didn't answer Kusanagi's question, but just murmured to himself, they also have very good ninjas in their guards, and their anti-tracking ability is commendable. I chased here and even lost the last trace of clues. Kusanagi seemed to have made a lot of determination. The grass, which side blows, which side falls. I just heard Kusanagi, the leader of the team, say, my lord, they went to the northwest direction. There is a carriage, for guards. Oh? The tall figure was overjoyed, and was about to turn around and leave, but he never imagined that Kusanagi became addicted to licking. My lord, their 4 guards are all little ghosts, and their strength will not be too strong. I hope you can kill the grass, and kill the people. The grass ninja leader solemnly said. However, before they arrived in the country of grass, we observed the country is full of thunder, as if a certain ninja used an extremely powerful lightning-style ninjutsu. And they are coming in exactly the same direction. Hearing this, the tall figure stopped and turned around with great interest. Lightning-style ninjutsu? He saw it too when he came out of the gold exchange. The lightning-style ninjutsu that causes atmospheric changes like that can never be used by a kid. In other words, beside the minister of the Fire Nation, there is an elite ninja who uses lightning style. However, Hisaka paid a terrible price for using lightning-style ninjutsu on such a scale, right? Hee. With a dry friction-like laugh, he murmured, very well, I'll accept your heart, just one is missing. Episode 67. Argue, I'll give Tsunade a break. Not to mention a certain place, there is a bounty hunter in the dark just around the corner. Country of grass, northwest, somewhere. Uchiha Hiko took out a box from the ninja bag, opened the box, and there were arrays of small pills inside. Its color is like winter snow, like white porcelain. He took out 3 of them and threw them to the 3 players. This is the Bingliang pill I made, one by one, which can keep you mentally and physically strong within 36 hours, Uchiha Hiko said. This little thing is actually something that he personally pounded out after analyzing it with the system. The original Bingliang one, depending on the workmanship, the proportion of ingredients, etc., tastes like a lottery, and you may vomit after taking 1 bite. And even the stable Bingliang one, the taste is really not flattering. In the end, that thing at that time didn't pay attention to human feelings, just replenished chakra with 23 physical strength to recover. But Uchiha Hiko formulated the perfect formula after systematic analysis. The military food pills in his box now taste like the sugar pills from his childhood. And there is a huge increase in the recovery speed of chakra. As long as the ninja is out of battle and rests quietly, then its effect can reach 300%. Orochimaru didn't even look at it, he was bored. This is out of his trust in the first peer of his life, whom he admired. On the other hand, Jiraiya over there watched for a long time. He squeezed the white porcelain Bingliang pill hard, and said suspiciously, Yen, you can't be a stone, can it be so hard that it can be digested? That's right, it's a solid product, but it melts in your mouth, try it if you don't believe me. With an attitude of trying, Jiraiya carefully put it into his mouth, and if it didn't work out, he planned to spit it out immediately. However, once imported, he only felt refreshed physically and mentally. Sweet in the taste buds, refreshing in the mind. Wait, my chakra? Jiraiya couldn't believe it. He found that his chakra was recovering uncontrollably. His total amount of chakra was not much, but in the blink of an eye, it had recovered to half. Moreover, the fatigue of the long-distance trek is also swept away. The soreness in the legs and feet is like a stain on the drawing board, which is erased bit by bit with an eraser. Even the most important mental exhaustion of a person can be instantly purified. Jiraiya was ecstatic. This is amazing. Yen, you are simply a fairy soldier food pill. We can just eat this in the future. No need to rest. Uchiha Hiko shook his head with a smile. No, with your body, you can only eat one a week. Tsunade on the side put the Bitesy Bingliang pill under his nose and sniffed it, and said in confusion, it seems that there is no special medicine added in it. It should be made of pure vegetables and grains, and it will not cause any harm to the body. Why? Can I only eat one? Tsunade is still very concerned about this aspect. Hearing this, Uchiha Hiko joked, I'm afraid that Jiraiya will die suddenly. He used this thing. Maybe he will do something. He ha ha. We are all ninjas, so we have to speak boldly. As for the minister in the car, no matter how high or powerful he is an ordinary person in the eyes of Uchiha Hiko. That is not eligible to eat his military food pills, a waste. By the way, I see that you are fighting today. The means of attack are too scarce. Uchiha Hiko said suddenly, those are just ordinary bandits, but you ended up in a bitter battle. Hearing the preaching, the three of them bowed their heads silently. The three of them, compared to Uchiha Hiko, are heaven and earth. Uchiha Hiko is dealing with the leader of the gang, all of them ninja groups. What they dealt with was nothing but a group of mobs. In the end, chakra was exhausted so badly that they couldn't hold it anymore. It just so happened that Uchiha Hiko chose lightning-style Chilin at that time. Orochimaru was very rational, and he responded, well, we are stronger than those bandits in terms of speed and strength. But after a protracted battle, our chakra is exhausted, and the effect of ninjutsu cannot be exerted during the melee to an extent. What, Orochimaru? The captain is preaching to us. Why are you helping him to speak 090? Jiraiya muttered, he doesn't like being lectured the most, because he is an orphan control +6. Orochimaru gave Jiraiya a disdainful look. Shut up, idiot. Well, don't quarrel, Uchiha Hiko said. Endurance is important to you, but you can't generalize it. I have been out for so many years, and I have seen many ninjas. There are many more types of ninjas than you can imagine. Orochimaru. Exist. If you were given more ninjutsu and a greater upper limit of stamina, what would you choose? I will choose ninjutsu. Where's Jiraiya? TCH, Orochimaru is the one to choose. If it's me, of course I want both. Hearing the sound, Orochimaru immediately said venomously, so you have nothing, idiot. What? Orochimaru, do you want to fight? My uncle is full of energy now. You think you're the only one recovering? By the way, have you beat me in any way? Episode 68, almost taught a domestic violence third generation. The quarrel between the two lasted for nearly 10 minutes. Uchiha Hiko admires it very much. One who quarrels for 10 minutes without making a move is really a chicken, can bear it. Therefore, he pulled Tsunade aside, away from the carriage. Since the two of them like to quarrel and don't like to study, he makes a small fuss about Tsunade. Tsunade, I read your ninja information from your superiors. Compared with fighting, you are more focused on medical ninjutsu, right? Tsunade did not deny it, and said, I am very confident in medical ninjutsu. Even if I don't know how to do it yet, I am confident to learn it, but if it is fighting, I will. In the battle with the bandits, her combat performance was obviously inferior to that of Orochimaru and Jiraiya. Uchiha Hiko smiled slightly. As I said, there are many types of ninjas. You don't have to worry about it, or feel inferior. Medical ninjas have nothing to be ashamed of. However, if you want to become a medical ninja, you must first learn how to protect yourself. So far, he is going to teach Tsunade to master strange powers. The so-called strange power is actually the use of chakra. Ninjas are used to calling it strange power, but it is actually the huge power that erupts from the combination of chakra and the body, and there is nothing strange about it. Very simple. As long as you have hands. Look carefully. Uchiha Hiko clenched his fists against the rocks on the grass in front of him. If you want to use the strange power, you must first have a foundation that will not be hurt by the strange power. Any powerful force, once it exceeds the quality limit of the medium, will inevitably be seriously injured or even killed when used. This point has been learned in the first semester of ninja school. Guiliquan belongs to Gangquan, but it is different from the conventional Konoha-style Gangquan, and it pays more attention to the control of details. However, when you use Gangquan, you need chakra as an assistant, and the ninja's physical quality is the main one. The strange power boxing is based on chakra, which does not require any exquisite physical skills. As long as he is hit head-on by the strange power fist once, the battle is basically declared over. Either the enemy is defeated, or the two are not in the same level of strength, so no matter how many strange power punches are used, it will not help. Just wait for death. Uchiha Hiko's chakra, on his arm, is divided into extremely delicate rules, which can ensure that the power is exerted while protecting the arm with chakra. Boom! There was only a muffled sound, and under the moonlight, the rocks on the grass had been turned into dust, and even the entire area where the two of them were was sunk into a big pit like a spider's web. That is a big pit, with a radius of more than 10 meters. Tsunade was unsteady, and sat down on the ground, with a strange look in his eyes, his little face turned pale with shock. Even though the two of them were far away from the carriage, the vibration of this punch still frightened the horse. If it hadn't been tied firmly, the minister might have suffered another disaster. Orochimaru and Jiraiya paused, and the action of spraying each other also stagnated. Hiko, Captain, I dare not, Jiraiya silently apologized. Me too, Orochimaru silently apologized. But who knows, Uchiha Hiko didn't like them at all. Instead, he reached out and pulled Tsunade up. He smiled and said, actually, this ability is not difficult. You should have seen someone use it in your home, right? Tsunade nodded obediently. Yes, when I was young, my grandmother beat my grandfather like that. What? Dare to love that Konoha #1 naive, also has tracheitis? Impossible? It's true, my mother beat my father too. It's okay, it's a matter between adults, don't worry about it. You just need to know that the strange power I taught you is not for you to beat your future husband-in-law, but to beat bad people. Tsunade nodded half understanding. Seeing this, Uchiha Hiko wiped the sweat from his brow. Mada, almost taught a domestic violence 3rd generation. Oh. The last time I tested the 3 of you, I found that you already have a little bit of the foundation of the strange power boxing, but when using it, there are many problems. Uchiha Hiko said, yes. Tsunade stared at Uchiha Hiko adoringly like a good baby. A person, he is proficient in ninjutsu, created his own extreme lightning style, has a wide range of knowledge and is very stable, and knows how to develop magical military food pills. This man is simply perfect. But, what should I do? Tsunade asked. Uchiha Hiko walked around behind Tsunade, stretched out his left hand, put it lightly on Tsunade's right arm, and said, the first thing to practice is chakra's precision control. Try it, I can do it more accurately, sensing that your chakra is private. Direct physical contact is indeed a way to enhance perception. He really didn't want to touch that little white arm. Tsunade held his breath and focused, as the chakra, Wang Lihao, in his body circulated through the veins, and soon converged on his arms. Sensing the rough control technique, Uchiha Hiko denied it. Tsunade's current status can only be called check strength, not strange power. This method is really rough. Many ninjas, when angry, use chakra bursts of power, but such an approach is not advisable. It is too much of a waste of chakra, and when the burst of energy has not killed the enemy, it will usher in a fatal period of weakness. Uchiha Hiko raised his left hand, followed Tsunade's arm, and gently brushed it up to the wrist. However, just when he was going to give Tsunade a detailed analysis of how to use the strange power, he suddenly felt a very strong chakra fluctuation. Episode 69, 5 for 5 is not a loss. His perception ability is not weak. Although it can't reach the level of perception accuracy of Xianglin, it can still perceive the general chakra fluctuation position. Someone is coming towards us. He whispered, his expression turned serious from enjoyment, and then he immediately took his hand from Tsunade and ordered, "You 3, Minister of Protection." After receiving the order, Tsunade was also very sensible, and immediately ran to the carriage, and took out kunai to defend himself. These are the basic reaction abilities of ninjas. In Uchiha Hiko's perception, it is a very powerful chakra, which is not at the same level as those rebels. Even those 40 traitors added up can't match the strength of this person. And, in the 3 years of his Umbu career, he has never seen such a strong ninja. That feeling only matched by the top ninjas in Konoha village. I've encountered an iron plate, I'm afraid I'm alone. Uchiha Hiko looked at the 3 people behind him, as well as the carriage. If he was the only one carrying out the mission, he wouldn't worry about 410 at all. No matter what enemy he encounters, he has the confidence to escape. But now, he has a mission target to protect, and he is also responsible for the position of captain. Apparently, one person's strength is not enough. With this in mind, he took out a special flare from his pocket. This is a special support flare for Konoha's Umbu. Generally, it is authorized to use only when an important target is found and needs to be killed on the spot. In other cases, even if Umbu's life is in danger, it cannot be used. As a special assassination force, rules are rules. Non-Umbu personnel should not carry it on their body. Even if they use it without authorization, they will be severely punished. Just like civilians disrupting military operations, the consequences are very serious. Fortunately, Sarutobi Hiruzen still retains his Umbu position, considering his outstanding performance in Umbu. Now, although he is not meeting Umbu's specific killing target, he does need manpower. This is the country of grass. I remember that the closest point to the Umbu deployment network is over there. The direction Uchiha Hiko is looking at is the junction of rain and grass. While in Umbu, he was also sent to the Land of Rain. In recent years, there have been disturbances in the Land of Rain as a neighboring country. Konoha Shinobi Village must be careful. Moreover, Konoha Umbu's investigation of the Land of Rain is a long-term task. In other words, a point has been established over there. If you ask for help over there, there will naturally be manpower reinforcements. These are all his information from Umbu. Sensing the powerful chakra getting closer, he no longer hesitated, and decisively released the signal flare. As the signal flare lifted off, he finally saw the figure rushing towards them. Uchiha Hiko narrowed his eyes slightly, and couldn't help but be surprised. This person is. I saw that the visitor was wearing a black robe, his eyes were full of greed, and his exposed arm was covered with stitches from sewing. Even if this person doesn't have the iconic attire in his impression, Uchiha Hiko can recognize this person's identity at a glance. The one in front of me is a veteran ninja. When first Hokage was alive, he was already active in the ninja world. Konoha is now in 3rd generation, and he is still alive. Even Uchiha Hiko knows that even if it is changed to 5th generation, this one in front of him can still jump. It's really 4 little ghosts. I thought Kusanagi was lying to me after all. I only believe in money, not people, the tall man said. His tone was full of jokes. Seeing the visitor stop, Uchiha Hiko also sarcastically said, I didn't expect that the legendary ninja who fought against the god of ninjas would appear in front of me today. Takigakure rebels, corner #B. Oh? You little devil, you can actually know my name. Your eyes are icy. But I don't remember the Uchiha clan having such ability. Uchiha Hiko sneered. Of course, if the target of your assassination in the past was Uchiha Madara, then, you will remember it unforgettable. Because, if he assassinates Uchiha Madara, it's time to travel to the world of the dead. There are 3 people beside the car, listening to the god of ninjas again, and Uchiha Madara's again, has fallen into a trance. While they were still arguing about ninjutsu or stamina, Uchiha Hiko was already talking about that level. The difference in vision is like the difference in life form, they can't help but feel humbled. Kakuzu is a decent guy. Naturally, he could understand the meaning of Uchiha Hiko's words. Back then when the 2 heroes of Konoha lived side by side, whoever dared to mess with Shura, even the shadow from another village would have to give him 12 points of face. He was just from the assassination team of Longing village, but he was used as a tool by the village, so he deserves to dance. You kid knows a lot, also your mouth shut and kill your companions, one by one in front of you. Kakuzu sneered. As he said that, he walked towards the carriage like a leisurely stroll. In his eyes, no matter how talented a brat is, he is still a brat after all, not worth mentioning. Most importantly, not worth the money. The heads in the carriage are worth the money. Wait for him to cut off the head of the minister of the country of fire, and then play with these little ghosts slowly. However, things backfired and Orochimaru could hold back Jiraiya for 10 minutes. Uchiha Hiko can't help it. Mr. Kakuzu, let's make a deal. Don't you just want the lives of 5 of us? Oh? Then, let's make a very fair deal. Use your 5 lives for our 5 lives. Uchiha Hiko sneered. As soon as the voice fell, he moved. Episode 70. How you want to die depends on what you reveal. In the past few years, if Umbu's negotiations are not going well, he often starts to strike within 5 sentences. Negotiations are not easy. Let's see the truth under our fists. In this world, everyone is an individual, whoever gives way to whom. Fire-style dragon fire technique. He formed a seal with one hand, and a dragon of fire rushed towards Kakuzu. After releasing ninjutsu, Uchiha-san did not stand still in place foolishly. He knows very well that a ninja of Kakuzu's level can survive until now. Doesn't it all depend on 5 lives? The quality of the ninja must be outstanding. The flame dragon roared past. Kakuzu's eyes were slightly surprised, but his body dodged backward subconsciously. Uchiha Hiko hides in the shadow of the fire dragon. While adjusting the direction of the fire dragon, he rushes towards Kakuzu. The birth of many legends in the ninja world is due to the intelligence gap. For example, before Pain's ability was analyzed, people thought it was the power of God. After being analyzed, the 2 Konoha Jonins felt that it didn't matter anymore, and the power of Pain disappeared from everyone. Just like this time, ordinary people don't even know that Kakuzu has 5 lives. As long as Kakuzu has a 1-for-1 mentality, his sneak attack success rate is a terrifying 95% or more. Uchiha Hiko knows. But Uchiha Hiko also knows. Kakuzu's 5 hearts are 5 attributes, and the combination of his 5 attributes of ninjutsu is quite tricky. At the same time, his melee ability is not weak, especially the disgusting black tentacles. After all, it is that level of ninja, quite difficult to deal with. Water-style water curtain. Kakuzu stepped back and quickly sealed. Immediately, it fired a high-pressure water cannon at the ferocious fire dragon. Among the 5 attributes of ninjutsu, the water attribute restrains the fire attribute. Kakuzu basically didn't need to think about this kind of defense and counterattack action, and he used his experience to cast water style. Normally, his powerful water style will destroy fire style on the spot. There is no suspense. However, the high-pressure water cannon he used today was in a stalemate with the fire dragon for a while. When will fire be able to stalemate with water? The surprise in Kakuzu's heart gradually turned into cautiousness. This kid has some skills, his ninjutsu talent is so high. It seems that I can get 2 new hearts at the same time today. He still misses the heart of that lightning style. I just don't know where the lightning style caster is hiding now. The fire dragon and the water cannon stand in a stalemate for a few seconds, and the evaporated water vapor diffuses like Kirigakure's signature rehiding technique. But water restrains fire after all in terms of attributes. After a few seconds of stalemate, the fire dragon finally dissipated. At this time, the fog has thickened. Following the fire dragon, Uchiha Hiko, who was hiding in the shadow of the fire dragon, suddenly attacked. Taking advantage of the thick fog, he uses the body flicker technique. Uchiha Flow Blaster Sword. He stood behind Kakuzu in an instant, the black knife in his hand was ready to go, the light blue blade compressed by chakra kept buzzing, and the sword that was tens of meters long slashed down on Kakuzu's body. Nani? Kakuzu still underestimated the enemy after all. He thought it was quite remarkable for a kid to be able to use that level of fire style. Unexpectedly, Uchiha Hiko's ability is not only fire style ninjutsu. His body flicker technique, swordsmanship are also excellent. Even his combat talent and ability to analyze the enemy are unacceptable. Hiding in the shadow of the fire dragon requires extremely fast speed. At the moment when the mist rises and the fire dragon disappears, the body flicker technique is used to test the ability to grasp the timing. Kakuzu couldn't dodge such a knife. Turning his body to the left, he tried his best, but he still couldn't dodge the 40-meter sword. A piece of arm was chopped off by the light blue sharp knife and fell to the ground. That was his right arm exposed. With Uchiha Hiko, how you want to die depends on what you like to show. What to expose, what to cut. Damn kid. A broken arm is not painful for Kakuzu, he just reattached it with a black beard. However, the gap in my heart is a bit big. He is getting angry. The other side, beside the carriage, hey, Orochimaru, should we support Yen? He seems to be in a hard fight. Jiraiya looked at the thick fog, worried, they can't see what's going on inside. Orochimaru shook his head, and said rationally, no, Yen Jun said that he was the person who fought against the god of ninja Senju Hashirama, and he survived the fight against the god of ninjas. We can participate. Yen Jun, to what extent have you reached? The ninja who fought against my grandfather. Tsunade's right hand held kunai tightly, and there was still a slight touch of Uchiha Hiko on the arm. She didn't know how powerful Senju Hashirama was when she was young, but as she grew older, the more he thought about it, the more terrifying he became. Yen, you are actually fighting against such a person and protecting us. Ah. Little devils, take me away quickly, I don't want to die. Why do you guard me? I always encounter this kind of thing. The minister on the carriage poked his head out and almost collapsed. These words instantly angered the three people guarding the carriage. Even Orochimaru, who is usually rational and calm, is also frightening at this moment. He looked at the minister coldly, like looking at a corpse. Shut up, if it weren't for you, Yen Jun. Would we be in this kind of predicament? If Yen Jun loses, you have to die too. At this time, in the thick fog in the distance, Kakuzu's body under the black robe suddenly twisted. From behind him, a masked monster suddenly broke through the restraints and broke free. That is a creature like a ghost. Wind-style harm. A terrifying chakra erupted, followed by the strong hurricane. That storm is stronger than any wind-style Orochimaru has ever seen. In an instant, the dense fog was blown away. When the thick fog dissipated, the scene inside was also presented in front of the three of them. That's it. They looked at that scene in disbelief.